Hi, my name is Claire. Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm going to be doing a shell challenge in The Sims 4. I found this shell challenge on Instagram by a creator that goes by BraveDie769, and you can see all the information here on the screen. But I wanted to make this a modern garden home designed for one sim. This is a very small shell I am working with, but I did add a little front porch here, and then I did add a larger deck out in the back, so there is a little bit more of a lounging space for your sim to hang out in. But I wanted this front porch area to just kind of be a nice little almost meditation spot, just to kind of watch people go by, drink some lemonade. I am keeping this build pack limited with using the Eco Lifestyle pack, the Dream Home Decorator pack, and the Backyard Stuff pack. And it's just those three packs. You can go double check me down in the description. But right now we're going to be going into the kitchen. So the kitchen and the living room are one big, well, not so big, open space, and we're just going to be having the kitchen on this wall with kind of this feature wall. I'm almost imagining it being some sort of new hybrid of kitchen tile, and so we're just going to be adding some things onto the top of the shelf because this is a very small kitchen. I wanted to make sure there was one counter space open for the sim to prepare food, to let all of the decoration and clutter to go up here on this shelf. And so we have some lemons and limes, going to be having some paper towels and a bowl of fruit, and then just kind of having a few cookbooks in between of these items to make it feel nice and lived in. And going to be making the books in different color swatches so they do look like they are different, but these are the same book option in the game. So we're just going to be finishing up the decorating of the kitchen and going to be heading in to the other side of the room, which is the living room. And living room is pretty small. You can have two sims sitting in the living room. This area doesn't have a dining space, but there is a table in the backyard for sims to gather around in for more of a backyard party type of style. And we're just going to be finishing up the kitchen. Remember the garbage can. If you didn't notice last week, I forgot to add the garbage can and the mailboxes into my build, but I remembered that when I was taking a screenshot, so you might have not seen it at the video part, but you probably saw the mailboxes in the screenshot part. But anyway, I'm rambling. We're now in the living room area, and I did want to make sure there was somewhat of a drop zone, and so I do have a coat rack and the security system on the left hand side of the screen for the drop zone, kind of quick check before you leave the house type of moment. And I did want to have a place for shoes, but there wasn't really a good place for shoes to go in this area, but I realized I could raise some shoes up to this shelving TV console, and it can also be a TV console slash shoe storage space in this very tiny open concept living room. So we're just going to be adding some decorations onto this upper storage before we add the shoe storage underneath the bunny. And I did want to have this home be very focused on nature and growing things, and so I was trying to keep plants throughout the space especially in the outside because there's a lot of like garden space. And I was kind of imagining that the sim would be wanting to almost live off the grid. They do have solar panels on the roof, they have a nice gardening system. None of the appliances I chose were the off the grid appliances, and so if you do want to like live off the grid, you'll probably have to change a few of the appliances around. I was also trying to make this a nice pretty space, and before the off the grid option, you really had to use your imagination. But now we are going to be in the bathroom, which is my favorite orientation if you're new to my channel, which is a 2 by 3 spaced room. This bathroom, it has a shower and a toilet and a sink, so that would make it a 3/4 bathroom, not technically a full bathroom, but this is the one and only bathroom in the home. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but this home is a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom home with a office and a pool. So now we're just going to be adding the tile backsplash from the kitchen into the bathroom just to give it some consistency. And we're just going to be adding a little bit of artwork because I realized there wasn't much artwork in this space besides the picture frame TV. And now we're just going to be working on the desk and office area. So this is towards the front of the home is this room, and I want to have like some sort of like ability for your Sims to make money in this house. So there's the art easel. It's kind of like the obvious thing is have your Sims make art and then sell it, but then your Sims could also use the computer to write books and maybe do like a gaming tournament. And so we do have a bookshelf in the office because in this little corner it was the perfect spot for a bookshelf. I do raise the bookshelf up slightly, but I wanted to have like more storage underneath the bookshelf, so we're just going to be now doing a little bit of rearranging of the puzzle pieces. If you're new to my channel, I do this quite frequently in my videos, and so we're just going to be adding a computer and going to be adding a little bit of decoration around the desk area, and then we do add a little bit of artwork in space. It's smaller than the living room, and so I went a little bit lighter with the artwork in this office area than I would in this like more larger space of the living room. But here's me adding the shoes into the TV console, so it does double as a shoe storage space. And now we're just going to be decorating the bookshelf and going to be adding some artwork. Going to keep it very simple in here. All of the artwork is from the Dream Home decorator pack, and now we are in the bedroom. So this is a very small bedroom. It is a lofted bed, and I wanted to imagine that the wall behind the bed you could like open and close, like it's like retractable almost. And so we're just going to be adding a mirror and going to be adding a dresser underneath the bed. So this is a fully functional bedroom. I did play test this bedroom and everything works out fine. I did want to have like some sort of like nightstand for the bedroom, and so I decided to take a shelf and put it above the door so your Sims can still have like somewhat of a nightstand in the bedroom. And see, right now we're just going to be doing a little bit in the backyard. I got a little bit distracted and had myself, and I forgot about my shelf nightside table idea, but you can see we're going to be working on that now. And so there's just a few little decorations up here on the shelf, which is just going to have a stack of books, a tissue box, and a few pictures. I did try to put a lamp up here on the shelf, but things weren't like clicking to the shelf or they were like blending into the wall. So instead, I decided to add a pendant light over the bed, kind of like in between the bed and the side table slash shelf, so your Sims can still like pretend to like see where they're reaching so the book doesn't like fall down onto the floor. Your Sims can't actually reach anything or like grab anything off of the shelf, but I feel like it was a fun little decoration for this small space to have a little bit of storage above the door. And now we are officially going to be going outside. I wanted this deck area to have a nice little like hangout area, and going to be adding a lot of planter boxes. I use these vertical ones from the Eco Lifestyle one because it also gives the sim some privacy, and going to be adding a wind chimes up here into the backyard. Going to be making some daybed loungers over here next to the bird feeder, and going to be adding a side table for the Sims' lotions and sunscreens and other stuff. But before we do that, I wanted to make a little covered grill area, and technically this is a fence and not a wall, so I'm not breaking any of the rules when it comes to adding walls in shell challenges. You can't add any exterior walls to a shell challenge where it kind of like breaks up the shell or changes the shell. And so that technically those are fence is, and we're just going to be adding some towels on the ends of these lounge chairs. I feel like it just kind of gave it a little bit of a resort or retreat feel, and this home on the Sims 4 gallery is called Modern Garden Retreat because there are so many garden boxes in the lot. And so we're just going to be now working on the pool. This is a pool that you have to like climb up the stairs to like get into, but I felt like that was fine. I feel like this was just a fun idea, and I haven't really done too many like above ground pools in The Sims, and so it's kind of something I've been playing with. If you've seen another build I've done a few weeks ago, I did another like above ground pool. So now we're just going to be finishing up, going to be adding some final details, and going to be starting on the like more like skill building areas. I do add a few more planter boxes, but I was mentioning that these planter boxes would be for trees, but we are getting close to the end of the video. So if you enjoyed watching, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up on your way out. And if you want to play in this home, you can check out the description of this video. All of the information will be down there. I post new videos every single Tuesday, and if you want to follow me and Dare Die 769 on Instagram, we're both over there. Dare Die 769 is the creator of this shell challenge. So I'll see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Bye!